welcome to episode 4 of the Cooking with Carter equipment series. I'm DJ Carter, your host. Happy to have you with me today. We're going to go over two different items today. We're going to go over skillets. My first skillet that I have on the right hand side here is a smaller version. It's made by Rival. It is the electric skillet. And now we're going to pan over to the George Foreman larger size skillet, which is kind of a multi-purpose. It does more than just you would think that a skillet does. So what I'm going to do, we're going to start off, get the big skillet out of the way. And I want you to notice just the skillet in its closed position. There is a hole here on the front side of the skillet, which I'm just going to put my finger over. That is your steam vent. Now, on newer models, most of the time, you will see a cover. I do have that on my George Foreman. We'll get to that in a minute. That basically is able to be rotated so that it's... But the way you work this is, what you don't want to do, you don't want to have the steam vent turned this way. Because as you notice, the steam is actually going to come up and hit me directly in the face, which is not what I want. I mean, good for the skin, I guess, kind of smooth it out a little bit, but that's not what I really want to do. So I'm just going to turn it back around. Now, you'll notice if I set the lead like that, it's not even on all sides, and I'll give Max a second to just show that. What you want to look for and hear, listen, there's a sound. When that closes down, you can also see and feel that it's closed on all sides, and if you just run your finger around there like that, it'll kind of show how that way that it traps the heat in. When you are preheating this, all you do, very simply, take your top off. Okay. This is the apparatus that controls the temperature and gives the small skillet its power. Okay, you'll notice that you've got warm, you've got 250, you've got 300, and it does rotate. To get to those temperatures, you've got to start with off, and this is actually in the off position right here. Okay, now it does have little red dots, and I'm going to go ahead and actually plug this in so you can see. It's a little bit harder to tell when it's plugged in, but the benefit, and it's in there, it doesn't click in. I've had this one for a while. The benefit is you can see kind of how the light itself, the indicator light, lines up with the wordage and the numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do to go and start it warm, I would rotate it just to warm. I'm going to move my hand out of the way and just use my finger. If I wanted to go to 250, I just go to 250, and you can see where the light is here, and the 250 kind of corresponds with the light. And when you plug it in to turn it on, the light will actually turn orange, and you'll be able to see that. Now, as you go through the numbers, the light will stay orange until it's preheated. Now, this is very important. When you go to go ahead and clean this, or once you have it washed, let it dry very thoroughly first, because what you don't want to get, and you can hear the sound that my hand is making going across. That's the sound you want to hear. But if it gets filmy, or it has a kind of a sticky feeling, let it soak with warm soapy water for about 20 to 30 minutes, depending on what you have in it, and it'll run smooth, no problem. So once you've got it washed and clean, let it air dry. You can put it in the dishwasher. I don't like to do that because it says, don't submerge it in water, and it doesn't really submerge it, so you can. I just don't do that, especially with the bigger one. But we'll get to that in a second. So basically, once you spray this down, you can use any non-stick cooking spray. Doesn't matter what store brand you use. You just go ahead, spray it down, let it heat up to your desired temperature. You'll see the light on, when it's preheated, the light will go off. After you've got the temperature on, go ahead and put your lid on. Don't take your lid off until after it's preheated, because if you do that, you're going to lose all your heat. So basically, I mean, that's simple. You can cook literally anything in this. I like this one because it heats up very quickly. It takes about, to heat to 350, this thing will heat up to 350 in about 8 minutes. That's incredibly fast. And it's very efficient. The problem with it is, it's a very small, it has a small area, but it's deep. This is great for making sausage gravy in. And again, you can see the sausage gravy episode on Cooking with Carter at any time. Feel free to check that out. But I've made pastas. I do not boil water in this. That is one thing you don't want to do. That's not what it's made for. So that basically would cover, that's about the only thing that I don't do. But you can cook hamburger helper in here. You can make crab chowder in here. As far as that's concerned, you can do pretty much anything with it. So it doesn't really matter how you do it. I mean, you could do hamburgers in here, pork chops very simply. I just want to go ahead and put my lid back on. I basically went over the cleaning instructions. That's it for that. You can do pretty much anything in there. You can, you can sear it if you want to. It goes all the way up to, let me see, does it go all the way up to, 400. This one goes up to 400, but that's a concentrated 400. I don't think I've put it on 400 since I've had it, maybe once or twice. But you can sear in that if you need to. So we'll just slide this one out of the way. Okay. Now, the George Foreman Healthy Cooking Machine basically is what this is called. It's a bigger version of the small skillet we just showed. Let me go over this real quick. Same thing with the lid. This one, I want to take the lid off and put the lid back on for a second. When you go to sit that lid on there, it doesn't seem to sit properly. And I've noticed with the bigger machines, what you've got to do, pick it up and let one side fall in first, and you'll see that same sill. Now here's the heating vent, the steam vent that I was talking about earlier. This rotates. You don't want to have it this way toward your face. You want to have it out. Okay, now I can also, the benefit of this is, the benefit of the steam vent is, this one I can turn the lid this way. I can sit the lid in there, and then if I say, oh, the steam vent's in my way, we'll just rotate it. And I like that little sound effect. That was cute. Okay. But anyway, that's the cool part about it. It just is kind of makes it easier if it's in the way. So again, we'll take the lid off, and I'll show you the difference in this one. And obviously, the difference in this one is the surface area. Okay, I'm going to talk about the controller first in this one. I'm going to just hold it here. I'm actually, I'll plug this one in a second. But I want to go, this one, what I like, it has a description by each temperature. You've got warm at 180. You've got 250 is simmer. You've got 300 is cook. 350 is saute. 400 is brown, and 500 is the sear option. Now, what's really cool about this one is you've got your up and down arrows, and you've got your sear button in the middle. So you can actually go to sear directly by just pressing this button. On and off control is here. Very simple to do. Okay, I'm going to plug this in real quick just to show you. Now, when you actually plug this in, you'll see a light flash and blink. Actually, as it's preheating, when the light is solid, the grill is preheated on whatever temperature. You want... it's actually a great machine. I have cooked just about everything in this. It is a miraculous piece of machinery. The one disadvantage to this, because this is bigger, I'm going to go from right to left here. The right side of the grill, for some reason, or the skillet is a better term, actually tends to heat up a little bit hotter than the
I'm going to just make a guess on why that is, and it's probably because the right side has the outlet and the plug into it. That's probably why it gets hotter.
I would say so, and I'm actually going to... One thing I didn't do with the last one thing I want to show is the underside of this, and I'll show you why. Where this actually it gets its heat from is the plate right here. This plate, and if you notice... The plate is concentrated in the middle. It's not around the whole area. So it will heat up on the sides, but this corner that I talked about, these corners here are where the general amount of the heat is going to come at its strongest point. And what Max was speaking about earlier is the control and the outlet is right in here. So that's where that... That's why
it gets hotter.
Yeah, it's exactly why it gets hotter. Now, the one disadvantage to this, and I don't like to disadvantage equipment, but I'm going to because if you notice, and it's not going to do it now, it will do it a little bit. You notice the wobble here on the handle? There are two screws on the inside of these, and I'm going to point to it. They're here, 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 and here. And actually, this one on the far side you can lift up and move and actually tighten. You have to tighten them pretty frequently. Now the reason that is, honestly, is because I use the heck out of it. I mean, it's just one of the things that I use almost every day. So you use it a lot, it's going to get wear and tear out of it. Washing pretty much is the same way. You do not put this in the dishwasher. The one key thing I want to mention about the George Foreman is this little baby right here, the grease trap. In a way, this is a great invention. For me, not so much, because 9 times out of 10, I have to remember that when I'm scraping around to move things, food gets caught in this area right here, so I got to take my spatula and get a cue from my cameraman back there to hit that grease trap, which thankfully you don't see on camera, so because he's so good at cueing me. But that's the only disadvantage to the George Foreman. So
I just want to say something. Something that we have to do very often, and what helps us with cleaning is right after we get all of our food off of it, make sure we scrape off the bottom, all the excess, all the grease and stuff, and then immediately put it into soak. So all the stuff will come off right away.
And if we would have done that from the start, that you notice the little bit of scratches here that you see, that's from letting it sit too long. Even when you soak it, the water has to get so hot to bring this up. Make sure when you do that, even though it's steaming, use hot water. Let the water get as hot as you can. Squirt some soap in there and let it soak about 20 to 30 minutes. Wash it out, rinse it out. You can use a sponge on it. You can use if you use the tough side, go light. Just use the regular spongy side. You should be fine. All right. So, that's going to do it for this episode of the Cooking with Carter Equipment Series. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today. And remember, it's where the meals we make are worth the wait. We'll see you next time on Cooking with Carter Equipment Series.